And we are live. I am in China. So, just so you know, I'm using a VPN that actually works this time. I hope I'm actually live. So, do let me know if you're watching this live stream right now. Put it in the live chat, put it in the comments if you can actually see me talk here in China. I'm visiting family, and I thought I would open this live stream with my team on the perfect topic: carnivore diet, when your friends just don't get it, when your family just can't relate. I am with my dad and my mom who live here in China, and I have to tell you, it's been a journey. Okay. With my mom, especially, she has never really understood why I would go from vegan straight into carnivore. And to this day, she still thinks that I'm crazy, that I need to just eat everything in moderation. My dad, however, is such a gem. He has beat pancreatic cancer with an animal based diet. So just let that sink in. He studied nutrition on his phone while he was battling with pancreatic cancer, and he was led into the rabbit hole of a ketogenic animal based diet to beat pancreatic cancer. And so I'm just so happy to be here in China hanging out with my parents. I'm always full of gratitude whenever I see my father. So healthy, so happy, so vibrant. He is literally the healthiest he has ever been despite his health journey. And I'm just so happy that he's still here and thriving. So let's get back to the topic: carnivore diet with friends and in social situations. I just want to know real quick, do you have any carnivore friends? Do you know anyone in your real life, not on the internet, but in real life, who's actually a carnivore like me, like my team backstage? I would love to know. So, for me, when I go to social situations with my friends, like dinners, lunches, celebrations, typically I would just say, hey, before we go and choose a restaurant, could we maybe go to like a steakhouse, a hot pot restaurant, a barbecue restaurant like a Korean BBQ, or a Brazilian steakhouse? These are the top four carnivore restaurants that I would willingly go to. So again, Brazilian steakhouses are great. They're usually all you can eat. Korean barbecue, Chinese hot pot, sometimes Japanese yakiniku. Take notes. These are all the best carnivore restaurants. And I would actually put last place steakhouses. Why? Because they're so expensive. And you could instead spend 50 to 80 bucks and eat at a Brazilian steakhouse as much meat as you want. Let me know your favorite carnivore restaurants as well. Those are my best tips. I'm actually going to have to head out to go hang out with my dad. So I'm going to bring on my next team member. You guys are in great hands because these are experienced, seasoned carnivores who live this lifestyle day in, day out for years and years and years, my Steak and Butter Gang team. So the next guest that I'll have host is Dr. Phil Smith, retired, but we call him Dr. Phil in the gang. Welcome, Phil. Hi.
Greetings. So glad to see you tonight. We didn't know you were going to make it, so it's
Surprise. Thank
really
you.
good. So I just hit 2 years as carnivore this week, about 5 days ago. And
Yay.
I would have to answer this that it evolves over time because when you first start out, you're really contrarian. You don't know anyone, and it's very, very difficult. And after time, you gravitate to people. Your friends all know you're doing it. Family is very supportive. I was just up in Atlanta visiting my two daughters and their families, and we got along fine. But other members of the family have dietary restrictions too. I mean, two of them are allergic to eggs and dairy and
Really?
a lot of other stuff. So we're kind of used as a family of adapting mealtime around everyone's preference. So I do a lot of the cooking when I'm out of town, and people like that. I've also found going to social events, I like to take a charcuterie board because I can control what's on it, put the stuff that I like on it, and it always gets eaten up. I mean, it's amazing when you serve meat to your friends, unless they're vegetarian or vegan, they just kind of eat it up. So we're kind of used to it. But I think, and yes, I do have carnivore friends, and we go out to eat and we find interesting places to go. I want you to know I just got a coupon today for a hot pot restaurant nearby. So I'm going to try that out. I've never been to a hot pot restaurant. So
Wow. Can I give you a tip? So
sure.
at these hot pot restaurants, Phil, they can put some questionable ingredients in the hot pot soups. So I would be careful. Maybe ask what they put in the soups. And if they're not very clear with you, you could actually just order bone broth, clean bone broth, or
Okay.
water.
Yeah, I was thinking of, you said do it in water for the
That's
hot
what I
pot, but
personally do. But a lot of carnivores, they're like, ew, there's no flavor. I need flavor. So bone broth is the best.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's great because I have no idea. I'm going to try to get one of my carnivore friends to go with me. So I'm
Yay.
looking
Enjoy.
forward to it. So I think everything changes over time, and uh, everything that we see as a challenge in the first few weeks to months of carnivore tends to be less of an issue because you're feeling better, you're doing better, everyone sees you're doing better, and they still think you're weird, but they just know that's the way you are. And it's so funny when people say, "So you're a carnivore, you only eat meat. So you don't eat fruit." "No, I don't eat fruit." "So what
Yes.
about vegetables?" "I don't eat bread or vegetables." "What about bread?" "I don't eat bread." And it's just so funny.
Literally.
It doesn't register in people's minds. So you just need to kind
Yeah.
of show them. And my granddaughter loves when I come to visit because she said, "I always get more meat when you're here, Grandpa." So
I love that. You're the best. You must be so like well loved in your family, especially by your grandkids, because you feed them well. I mean,
there
food
you
is
go.
everything.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
I also wanted to share just yesterday, I met my dad's best friend's daughter, and she's 24 years young. She lives here in Shenzhen, China, and she was just sitting down hanging out with me while my dad and his best friend were hanging out. And she asked me, "So what do you do?" And I said, "I'm basically a carnivore diet spokesperson on the internet." And she's like, "What's a carnivore diet?" And so I told her, as best as I can, I told her, "I just eat meat." And she's like, "Okay, so what vegetables do you like to eat?" Like right after. It's like, "I don't eat vegetables." She's like, "Oh, but you drink juice, right?" "No juice, just animal foods." And she just was so mind blown that I can only
Yeah.
eat meat. And she only was like actually curious, and she only truly listened to me when she started sharing with me that she has extreme pain during her periods. So she's 24,
Mm.
she has extreme cramps during her periods, and I was like, "Honey, I'm not trying to tell you anything, but did you know?" And then I just went off on how a carnivore diet has healed so many women's period pain, including my own, and she started getting really curious. And by the end of our hangout session, she said she was gonna try carnivore for 30 days.
Good.
Yep.
You're
So I think
amazing.
this Thank you. Well, this is really the way to get people to listen is I feel like when you hear your friends talk, like you let them talk. Eventually, at least your loved ones, if they're comfortable around you or friends, they will start sharing things where like they have skin issues or they're struggling with their energy or they're having issues with their health. When they share that and become vulnerable, I feel like that is the opportunity for us to help them with what
Yeah.
we know what a carnivore diet can do. So that's my last tip. Phil, I will
Yeah.
let you host. You
And I,
guys are in.
and, yeah, and I
Yes,
don't push carnivore on anyone. I just honestly, I people come to me and they ask,
yes,
and
that's
I'll
right.
say, "Do you want?" They'll ask me, "Do you want this? Do you want that?" And I say, "No, I only eat meat." And
Yeah.
it starts a conversation going. But I've had quite a few people around me adopt carnivore just because of the example.
Right.
So
There.
that's good. So
I
Bella,
love
you're going to let the next person in because I have no
absolutely.
idea how to let people
Don't
in
worry,
the
I got
live
you.
stream.
Okay, so next up we have Todd Bockness, and for those who are late, I'm dropping off to hang out with my family in China, but enjoy this live stream, ask all the questions you need. The team is ready to help you. Okay? Todd, you are now added.
Howdy,
Enjoy.
howdy. See you, Bella.
Okay,
Whoop,
Todd,
she was out quick.
it's all you. It's all yours.
I'm gonna say, yeah. Well, I'm at the helm. I should eat a stick of butter so people know my where I'm at in the live stream hierarchy tonight. Something. No, I'm gonna say my my piece on what I do with family and friends last because it's boring to be honest with you. So I think I'm gonna bring on the next person just so that we can hear Raymond his take on it, what he does around family and friends, and then we'll go from there.
Hey,
Hey, Raymond.
how you doing? Good.
Everybody,
Glad to be here.
Everybody doesn't know this is Coach Raymond from the SBG gang. He is the mastermind behind priming and fasting that we teach in the SBG gang. So, Raymond, what do you do around family and friends that don't get it? Carnivore,
Yeah.
what how you're eating?
You know, it's like what Phil said, actually. It has changed over time. You know, earlier on, I was actually so kind of worried what people thought and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I would actually be the type that, you know, if I had like a work meeting, I would put all of it in my plate, just stack up the meat, just never touch anything else, and then throw that away after I'm done with the meat because I cared about what people thought. Later on, like last time, they just know. Well, they learned that I only eat meat after a while. But the way it happened is my big plate of meat would come out, and they're like, "Oh, wow, that's a lot of meat." I'm like, "Yep." And it's like, "You don't want anything else?" I was like, "No, I like meat." And you know, no questions came out from that. You know, and but there were little. Curious people that would come to me like later on. And it's like, because they saw my transformation. They knew how big I was, how sickly I looked. And they started asking questions. And that's where the questions started. And I was like, as long as I let them know that this is my experience, I'm not expecting you guys to do anything. I just want to let you know what happened to me, you know? And then they got kind of curious and they start thinking to themselves like, huh, you know what? It'd be I keep getting this a lot, right? This is an easy diet. And I was like, yeah, it is, isn't it? And then they're like, they catch themselves afterwards, like, wait, no beer? No, no beer. No wine? No wine. And then they're like, no dessert, no cheese, no cheesecake? No, none of that. Oh, okay. Well, this can be pretty tough, but I love meat, you know, and that's where, but it gets them thinking, right? And that's what I like to do. It's I like them to approach me, but pretty much, yeah. Nobody even questions me anymore,
Yeah.
as much. It's like they were really more curious than anything else.
That's awesome. And before we bring our next panel member on too, I wanted to say in the chat, we are going to do a Q&A after we all give our 2 cents on what we do for our family and friends when we're going out and trying to explain carnivore to them. So please put your questions in here with a Q in front of your questions and we will get to those in order, but the super chats will cut the line because they do take priority. And please put who your question is for on the panel as well. So we will go to our next person here. And this is Coach Alyssa. Hey, Coach Alyssa.
Hey.
All right. What do you do for your family and friends?
Well, I just give them an earful, honestly. I mean, if they're gonna be so nosy as to like act all judgy and oh, what? You only eat meat? No way. Like, I mean, I'll match it. I'll match their energy. They're curious, obviously. So I'm gonna let them know. I'm gonna answer all their questions they didn't even know they had. So by the end of it, they're not questioning me anymore. You know, some people have seen where I came from, and they understand that there's healing power in carnivore diet, but others who didn't know where I came from, they're just kind of like, okay. So, you know, I mean, what can you do other than just educate people, whether they want to hear it or not?
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we'll bring up our next panel member, Melanie. Hey, Melanie.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hey
Melanie.
everybody on the live. Yeah, this is interesting for me because Raymond kind of knows my story. I had a really difficult time starting Carnivore with the whole FOMO, you know, fear of missing out, and I didn't really have people judging me about what I was eating, but I found out that, except for I did have one friend, I will say this, I got kind of the Bible verse about, well, how could it be bad if God created? And I said, well, we all do have discernment, you know? So, I mean, he didn't tell you to go eat that leaf off the tree, you know, it's kind of poisonous, right? So you got to decide, you know, what you're going to eat. But I think that my friends are more either intimidated or they just don't really want to entertain with me, I guess, because they feel like I don't partake in what they do. I don't drink and I don't eat all the junk food that they eat. So I feel like I don't get invited to things very often. But if I do go, I just make sure that I eat before. So I'm nice and full, and then I can enjoy with, you know, and hang out with everybody. And I have gone to parties, and I think like Phil mentioned earlier, charcuterie board is really good. And I always bring something that carnivore, like a Dr. Lisa's buffalo dip or something like that, that with pork rinds or something that I can eat. And I know that I'm not going to be tempted to with all the other cravings. But yeah, it's kind of, it was a big ordeal, but over time, it's kind of gone away. I don't hear it too much. Plus, I don't really have that many friends anymore because they don't want to hang with a carnivore. So in my community, this is my gang right here. So that's what I got.
That's awesome. And the reason why I was going last is because this is the topic I have the least input on, because I just really don't give a crap. Like, I haven't ever gave a crap since day one, because, well, honestly, because I was just too sick. I was too sick to give a crap, and it was my last shot. And, you know, and at 700 pounds, it didn't matter what I was putting in my mouth. Everybody was judging me anyways, no matter what I was eating. So it didn't matter. So I was it wasn't like anything was new there if I was doing that. The only difference is that when I started, you know, I got quite the sarcasm out of always taking shit about what I was eating anyways. So I had no problem barking back. But, you know, the only thing that changes on Carnivore, I started healing. I got off all my medications. So I would just be like, yeah, how many, you know, medications are you on, you flaming bag of inflammation? You know, like these people that are telling you stuff, they're all eating crap and inflamed and sick too. And it's like you know, I was finally off the medication and got to where I wasn't dying anymore. So it just didn't matter what people were saying to me. So yeah, I just didn't care. And then lo and behold, you know, 330 pounds later and feeling a lot better, and people can see that I'm not dying again or anymore. Now there's a lot of people that are on Carnivore, you know, that are in my circle, because they were sick when they were saying, you know, what they're saying about the food. And now I proved that this can bring you back from the grave. So, but yeah, so I just don't care, to be honest with you. But, all right. Well, we have some questions. Are you guys ready for a few, the questions?
Sure. Let's go.
Why not?
All right. It says, is it okay to drink raw cream? What do you think, Raymond?
Absolutely. If you can do dairy. If you can do dairy, yeah.
I agree with Melanie. If you can do dairy, absolutely. But I want to say this, you know, it is filling, right? But the problem with raw cream is that it's not dense. We want as much density as we can. So if you have, let's say, a carnivore meal with raw cream, you know, as that you're drinking through the meal, perfect. If you have it by itself and call it a meal, it's not quite a meal. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, not very nutrient dense.
Yeah, and I can't have it. I get inflamed when I drink a bunch of raw cream, and then it just opens up my appetite like crazy, and my hunger hormones are in trouble when I have a bunch of raw cream.
And it could be a good way to put in more food, though. That's one good way. Yeah, but queso, more food. So it depends. It depends on what you're looking at too. If you're one of those types that just cannot open your appetite very well, so raw cream can be handy on that. I like how you said that, Todd.
Oh, I have one for Phil. I got to pull this one up because it's hilarious. Phil, has anyone done a parasite cleanse?
I saw that, and I was like thinking to myself, "You're gonna put that up there."
I have.
Oh my gosh,
it's called the Lion Diet.
Yeah.
It's called Carnivore, Todd.
Carnivore. I just wanted to get that out of the way because, when none of us care because Carnivore cleans that up and Lion Diet cleans that up. But
well, I want to say I have done a lot of parasite cleanse before Carnivore. Okay. And I was one of those crazy people that followed all these internet stuff. I've done the wormwood. There's an ivermectin cleanse. I've done the gallbladder type cleanse. I've done a lot of cleanses, and I'll feel good for a few days and then go back to feeling totally miserable. And there's the word that says there's people that kept on saying, aren't you worried about parasite eating all that meat, eating all that pork, or eating any meat? There's tons of parasite in it. And it kind of dawned on me, this whole time I'm removing parasite, and I saw this on one of those parasite labels. It's like the idea is to kind of starve out the parasite, right? So try to eat clean so that the parasites don't come back. And then, I realized later on, well, parasites actually love things like sugar. At least that's what they said. I have no idea. But come to find out, well, on a carnivore diet, I've actually expelled some parasites that I've seen in my stool. Well, I think I did. So I'm like thinking to myself, well, if it's expelled it, and I don't feel like I did before, then let's put it this way. I've never on a carnivore diet felt like I had to have a cleanse for any reason at all. And I don't know why, but before I always felt like I needed a cleanse of something.
I got you.
Not scientific at all. That's just my own,
That's
thing.
Awesome. All right. Here's the next one from Arena. And I also was constipated. I'm not sure if this is something that happens, but the stomach pains were really, I'm trying to see if there is,
Is there more than that before?
Yeah, let's start right here. All right. I was feeling real good with it. is there another one? It's kind of starting in the middle again.
We're just going to go through the whole thing.
Right. All right. I was trying to see if there's another one. I was feeling real good with it. I just don't understand what happened. Maybe I don't drink enough water. Maybe I didn't eat enough fat. I'm not sure. Any ideas? And then it said, and I was also constipated. I'm not sure if this is something that happens, but the stomach pains were really debilitating. I've always eaten a lot of meat even before trying carnivore. So I don't know. How about Alyssa?
Yeah, well, this looks like it's like two parts of at least a four-parter
Right.
comment. So,
Right.
Emma, I would love to help you troubleshoot. Or is it Erna, Juliana? But I hope that you can come to SBG and come to open chat where we can like ask you back some questions, like when did this start? What are you eating? But I think everybody here knows that, I have a very big, firm belief that Lion Diet is a very worthy experiment. If you are feeling not great and you're doing carnivore, and let's say some things are getting better, but some things are getting worse or just still nagging and not healing, try a few days on not carnivore, but still carnivore, Lion Diet, just ruminant meat, salt, water. That's it. Cut out everything else for at least 3 days. But if you can go longer, that's even better. Because you just never know if one of these things that you're eating could be causing these stomach pains or the constipation. But typically with constipation, that means that you're not eating enough fat. So I hope you feel better and let us know if you have any more questions.
For sure. All right, Angela, lost 30 pounds over 2 months and gained 2 pounds. Should I be concerned? Raymond, what do you think?
Uh, lost 30 pounds over 2 months and gained 2 pounds.
What?
I'm guessing after
I
the
mean,
30
after
pound
the
loss. Yeah.
30
After,
pound loss and then gaining, no, I mean, absolutely not. First of all, weight kind of fluctuates. We tell people at the gang all the time, your measure of success is not by the pounds we lose. Don't go look at the weight scale. Why? What does that really identify with you? So if we're doing this for weight loss, for me, I never went into the carnivore for weight loss. I went in it for pain loss, for quality of life gain. And if it's about the weight, I couldn't care less if I could get all the quality of life that I've had and I was 30 pounds more or 40 pounds more, because that's well worth it for me. So I like to trust that the carnivore, and it's done so many benefits for me that I allow the body to choose what it does with its nourishment. Because what I found out is when I'm fully nourished, my mind works better, my body works better. And then later on, when it decides that it doesn't need as much weight on me through fat, it does seem to lean out. It worked for me.
it's awesome. All right. Next one's for Phil. It said, Dr. Phil, I have been carnivore since January 2nd. My blood test had a ferritin level of 226. My doctor referred me to an oncologist. Does carnivore raise these levels? I had an infection at test.
Yeah, ferritin is an interesting thing. It's protein involved with iron transport. It is an inflammatory marker. So some people have higher ferritins when they go carnivore. The reason he sent you to your doctor sent you to an oncologist is people in oncology are also hematologists. So they're not saying, you have cancer. They're saying, I don't have an explanation for it, but it's probably going to be fine. I hope they don't overtest you for this because it's a very normal thing we see. And what you should really be interested in is your hemoglobin and hematocrit. There's a rare condition called hereditary hemochromatosis, which is a autosomal dominant trait that you inherit from one of your parents. And it causes you to retain iron, and it raises your hemoglobin and your hematocrit. So hemoglobin usually is around 15. It's on a complete blood panel, a complete blood count, CBC, or what's called a hemogram. And if you have those and your hemoglobin and hematocrit are both in normal range, it's probably just due to diet alone and not a major issue. But ferritin does go up when you have acute inflammatory reactions, and an infection would be an acute inflammatory reaction. So anyway, I wouldn't be too concerned. Let them check it out. But there's a lot of tests that I talk about in SBG, Steak and Butter Gang, about how to look at your lab test, because this is a common one that goes up. And some people think that you're getting overloaded with iron, but in most cases, it's a benign process.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And then I'm going to put this up. Ricky, thank you for the super sticker. If you were trying to put a question in there, I don't see it. So we will look out for it. Put some cues in front of it, and Lindy will look out for that. But if it was just a super sticker, we appreciate it so much. Thank you. All right. And then we're going to go. So this one's going to be for Raymond. I'm doing well so far, my first week of priming, but Sunday I have to do a liquid diet for my colonoscopy on Monday, and probably picking up where I left off. Do you think this will hurt my progress, Raymond?
The liquid diet for the colonoscopy is going to kind of flush you out. I would actually, it just depends on how you're doing the first week of priming. So, and then you're doing a liquid diet. You probably have one more week to go afterwards. I would try picking up after I left off, and then I was you're at that 3 meals a day the second week. Do that. And if you need a little longer, if you're actually feeling like you just if you don't feel like you're missing hunger after those 3 meals, then go on to that point where you're feeling like, man, I wish I was hungry again. I wish that I really don't like doing these 3 meals. I can't wait to feel hunger again. Then you're on the right track and you have no cravings and no hankering from there. So yeah, it's okay. Just go ahead and start where you were at on the second week and go on from there.
Perfect. Thank you. This one's for Melanie. Buffalo dip. Please explain this delicious sounding snack. Buffalo M's Melanie.
Oh gosh. Something I'll have. I don't have it put in the chat, but it's like 2 cans of canned chicken, cream cheese, cheddar cheese, mixed in with some buffalo sauce or like your hot sauce. And then you add bacon bits on top and you bake it in the oven for like 30 minutes. It's pretty. If you go to Dr. Wiederman's YouTube or Instagram and you just type in buffalo dip, I'm sure she did a video on how to make it. Super simple and it's delicious.
All right. That's awesome.
What do you dip in it?
I usually actually I just eat it with the spoon. Sometimes I'll use pork rinds, but I like it just because she even has it so that you can dip it if you're going to use it as a dip, or you can make it a little bit less creamier if you're going to eat it like with a spoon. So I do it before I eat it with a spoon. Yeah, it's pretty good. Awesome. Hey, just real quick on the question about the colonoscopy, Dr. Phil, I think would we not recommend that somebody either do it all water or maybe an LMNT unflavored for the prep versus in Gatorade?
Yeah, that's what I do. I use LMNT in the water and use 1 packet per gallon of water. And that's what I use for my clear liquids because it does have a little stevia in it, but it's better than the stuff that you get commercially.
Gotcha. All right. This one's for Alyssa. I'm on a strict line diet 3+ months and I'm still struggling with bloating. Anyone might know why this is.
Strict line for 3 months, still bloating. It could be histamines. I don't know if you've tried a low histamine line diet, but that's a really good thing to try. So just try to buy your meat as fresh as possible and either cook it and eat it right away or freeze it. Don't ever put any leftovers in the fridge. Put it straight into the freezer. That's the best way to try out a low histamine because those histamines can really make your belly bloat. So try that out and let us know how it goes. And maybe we'll see you next weekend if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. I like that, by the way, Alyssa, but I want to add on just to let folks know. So all of us have a tolerance to a certain amount of histamines, right? So some of us have a little higher tolerance and some of us a lower tolerance. It sounds like that's probably your issue. So what I'm trying to say is on a lion diet, what you could try is smaller meals more frequently throughout the day. What that does is that it unloads your tolerance. So if you're having too much in one meal, that might be too much histamine, and that's where you're reacting to. So in other words, if you had a smaller meal just more often throughout the day to make sure that you're properly nourished, and you'll notice that bloatedness should lessen. So use your bloatedness as your marker. And if you get bloated, try to find out the amount that would do where you're not bloated. The only question comes from that is trying to keep yourself nourished. So make sure you're eating all throughout the day if needed.
That's awesome.
Very good point.
All right. Let's see. I guess this will be for Raymond as well. It says, do you feel bad at first or worse starting carnivore? And if so, what can you do to get through it?
Okay. So feeling bad is really not indicative enough for me to go on. So feeling bad doesn't mean lower energy, worse mood. And it could be a slew of things. So obviously getting a carnivore flu is very common at first. All of this can be taken care of by 2 ways. This is why priming is there. Priming takes care of that because you're nourishing yourselves all throughout the day. Problem is a lot of people don't quite understand. We all have different tolerance, like I was talking earlier, to certain things. So when you eat too comfortably stuffed, which is what I recommend for 3 meals a day, but some people can't handle that on one meal especially. So eating one meal won't be good. So you divide it by 3. Can you handle that? If you can't handle that, you would do it by 5 meals. The idea is to nourish yourself properly and trying not to feel bad. So if you feel bloated, that is an issue. Find out what could cause it, whether it's too much, maybe cheese, too much histamine, like Alyssa was saying, any of those. But that's where we troubleshoot. That's what we like to do. So join us, and we'd love to help you.
All right. Awesome. This one's going to be for Phil and Alyssa. It says, question, I have a 7-year-old granddaughter recently diagnosed with an autoimmune. I've tried to talk to my daughter about carnivore, but she's not open to it. So I don't know. I guess the question is, how do you help your granddaughter become open to it? Phil or
Phil,
Alyssa?
did you go first? Yeah, I think you're muted. Well, I was going to.
Yeah, you want to go first?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would just try to share some videos with her. Feel free to share my story with her, but even share a Facebook page with her. There's a group called Carnivore for Autoimmune. And there's just so many people in there who have healed their autoimmune diseases with carnivore, or are new to it and they're trying to get advice. So you'll just see a question and then so much advice in the comments. So yeah, I would just offer the information to her and let her make the decision for herself.
Yeah, and I really encourage people to share Michaela Peterson's story. Her TED Talk is very, very interesting. And she had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, had 4 joints replaced as a teenager, a lot of health issues. And it's a pretty compelling story. You know, you're not going to convince family members to do anything. All you can do is share information with them from credible sources and let other people tell a story of healing. And maybe they'll be influenced, maybe they won't. But it's really tough when kids get autoimmune disease at this age, and you want to do everything you can to help them to heal.
I want to tackle this too. Let's not forget, this is a 7-year-old child. Okay. There's a lot that they don't grasp. Don't convince them on a carnivore diet or any diet whatsoever. Ask them what they like to eat. She probably likes little, eggs, for example, or you can make some kind of egg pancake that Bella has. I mean, there are some delicious carnivore things that, your granddaughter would be up for. And I remember this a lot because my grandparents used to always say this, eat your eggs to make you strong, and so there was a lot of these idioms saying about how meat makes you, muscular and stuff like that. As a man, I got that growing up. Use those same words, let them know what eating these nutrient dense meals do for them. But don't even call it nutrient dense. Don't call it carnivore. Don't you could just say this egg does this, or this great ribeye is going to make you feel good and make you think better. All of that, and I think by that doing, it's a little propaganda-ish, but it works.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a great answer. This one's for Melanie. Solve the problem of constipation. Oh, you're muted, Melanie.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. I muted earlier. Well, actually, I do have a solution, really. Eat more butter. And if you really are having an issue with constipation, I got this from, I think Kelly Hogan said this way back in the day. Warm salt water 2 or 3 times a day will make you go like smooth and, everything's good. So, yeah, I mean, we all deal with it. I deal with it now and then too. And I know it's when I eat more dairy than I'm supposed to. So have to cut back on my dairy. And on those are the days I go, oh yeah, I had dairy. I had more dairy than I usually do, which created a problem. But you could also do a little bit of warm butter just to see how you do with it. We don't really recommend rendered butter because it can cause on the other side of that, the diarrhea issue. But you can maybe try room temperature and see if that helps move it along a little bit. But thanks, Todd, for the question.
No worries. I hadn't asked you anything in a minute, so give me that one. I'm gonna take this one. It says, my friends don't get it because I was healthy and now I'm sick. I look sick. Histamine is kicking my butt. So is oxalate dumping. How come no one talks about this with detail on SPG like a warning? And I talk about oxalate dumping quite a bit, but not as a warning necessarily, as just my experience with it. And my brother is very histamine intolerant and has an autoimmune problem and oxalate dumping too. And at the end of the day, I don't talk about it as a warning with anybody because I know that my brother, myself, are much better off not having those oxalates in us. There wasn't really an option. I don't want it to sound like we need to deter somebody from doing carnivore because there's going to be some oxalate dumping or some healing, discomfort or something. And so I don't know exactly what you meant by that, but I just don't think that that's something that's a warning. I guess it's something we could talk about a little bit more, but I don't want to scare anybody off.
Yeah, it almost seems like she's implying that we're trying not to talk about it, like it's like we're hiding it. But honestly, I feel like I talk about it all the time. This is stuff. Well, look, we've already mentioned it a few times throughout this live stream, but the thing is that not everybody gets it as bad as you have, Mariana. And I know you, I love you, you're my friend. But yeah, I just know these things. I haven't known too many people who have had the experience that you've been having for the last several months. So it could be anything from your environment, your genetics, any other things in your life, medications that you may have to take. These all could play a role in why, and the typical things that we tell people to try, like green tea for oxalates and, these things I know that they haven't had the same effect on you. And so you've been very scared to continue trying new things. And so I think it's going to come down to trying to get into that parasympathetic mode as much as possible. Let your mind rest, let your body heal. Because I think, for me, I reached a point in my journey where I was searching and searching and searching for the answers, like this puzzle that I had to fix every single day, or I felt like I was going to die. And when I finally just let go and I made a promise to myself that I was going to practice meditation and prayer and Qigong every day to try to get into that parasympathetic state, and I detached from the outcome. I just said, all right, you know what? Obviously, whatever's happening to me is not in my control. All I can do is do my best. I'm going to feed myself and I'm going to rest. And the rest is up to God, the universe, whatever you believe in. And I would encourage you to try to do the same, because I know you've been trying different things and you've reached out for help, to so many experts, and the things that they've recommended aren't necessarily working for you. So, what can we do, right? Just try our best and let our body heal. Leave the rest up to God.
100%. I agree. And here's another one. And can we take creatine on carnivore?
Absolutely.
I am actually a huge fan myself, right? Yeah, and I didn't think that I was, and then I stopped taking it, and it makes a huge difference, actually.
Well, just be careful, though, because one of our listeners thinks that, the creatine might turn us into looking like men or something. So just
well, I hope it makes me look like a man. Intended, but this stuff actually works real well, and I'm a huge fan of it, and I take it every day in high doses. So
I do too, every day.
Yeah, well, on that creatine part, when I first took it, I took it in too high a dose, so I got a little bit because you have to drink a lot of water if you're taking it too. So that's kind of the problem. It gets me really dehydrated very quickly. But, start small dose and then work your way up.
Nice. All right. Let's see. This be, I guess, for Raymond. And this is kind of funny too, because this is right along the same kind of theme of the oxalate dumping. It says, after being on carnivore, if I eat non-carnivore foods, I feel like I react more poorly than ever to them. Like my body decided to shut down any evil forces I had against these foods. Thoughts? 100%. Yeah. We have like at one. Yeah. Like if I'm so much more, I feel like your body heals and it's just way more reactive to poison, where I think we were just kind of numbed down before and didn't even feel that we were poisoning ourselves. Yeah. I had an experience there about 2 months ago. I had to go up with one of our guys. And I mean, I've spent, 20 years plus in the field in construction, and I've ridden with smokers all my life. In fact, I used to smoke, and I love the smell of cigarette smoke, and I used to smoke cigars, but I had been away from it this whole journey on carnivore, and I had to run up and look at a job, and I went up with one of our guys, and I knew that he smoked, and I didn't want it in my vehicle, so I hopped in with him. And we went up there, and I had the most severe reaction to that cigarette smoke I'd ever had in my life, just from smelling. It wasn't even cigarettes; it was Black and Milds he was smoking. But I got physically ill. My head was hurting, my head was spinning. I thought I was going to puke on the floorboards. We got up there, and my lungs were wheezy, and I had this snot and crap coming out of me, and I had to hack up all this junk out of my lungs. I could not believe it from just that secondhand smoke. And as soon as I got away with it, I came home and I had to go to bed. And then I hacked up all this crap, and then I was fine the next day. And I used to smoke cigars, and I used to smoke Marlboro Reds, and now I can't even be next to it. And I was like, it's because it's poison. And my body is like cleaned out so much, it just didn't want any part of it. And as soon as it was gone and all the phlegm and stuff was out of my head, I was fine. But that stuff made me physically ill. What do you guys think? Phil?
Well, we build tolerances to foods because we eat things all the time. And, anything that you eat a long time, but you build a tolerance to it. And when you withdraw the food and then reintroduce it, you don't have the tolerance. And so it tells you that, gives you a pretty good indication that your body really doesn't like what you're getting exposed to. It's kind of interesting because it's a warning sign. And the only reason we eat this standard American diet is because we grew up on it. But if you get away from it and eat meat and animal products and then come back to eating the stuff that we ate for years, I mean, the fact that it makes you sick, shouldn't that be a warning sign to you of what it was doing when you didn't realize it was making you sick?
Yeah, 100%. When I got home so sick from that secondhand cigarette smoke, I was actually pretty happy. It put a kind of a smile on my face because I went, this is so funny because this is such a good sign. I was so sick before, I didn't even know I was getting poisoned. Like I wasn't even having a reaction to the poison. So this is good because I feel like my immune system's like SEAL Team 6 now, and it's just not going to put up with any of the bull crap. I felt so much better knowing that I'm never going to not know when something's hurting me like the food used to. I think it's a blessing. I really do. But all right, we'll give this one to Raymond. Let's talk crap, Raymond. Is it normal to not have bowel movements as often as before on carnivore?
Damn, it's a great thing. I mean, I never realized spending three bathroom breaks a day, how much time that costs. Don't get me wrong, there were some pleasurable moments as far as playing video games and reading articles. I read a lot of articles on the toilet. So really and honestly, when I didn't go anymore, I'm like, what? Almost like I didn't know what to do with my time. I'm like, but I don't feel like going. So at first I had to get into the habit. I was just sitting in a potty and nothing's happening. And I'm like, so I started realizing I'm just wasting my time doing that. Oh, the other thing is leg numbness. I don't know if you know what I mean? Like the whole buzzing on your leg. I had constant of those. Just so many things that's so much better from not going to the bathroom as much. I go once or twice a week and they're pretty quick. Normally it takes me 30 minutes to an hour back then, so just to expel, that was just a waste of time in my opinion. Doesn't make sense to make all these bowel movements. And then I thought, God, if we were hunters and we had to go to the bathroom all the times and the animals smelled it, we would never have caught a hunt and we wouldn't be here today. That's just the way I see things.
100%. This one's for Dr. Phil. Joined SBG a few weeks ago and had a mild heart attack last week. I received a stent. Can it still work for me? And what is the best way to research?
Yeah, that's a great question. Carnivore, doesn't immediately reverse what we've done to our bodies for years and years. I had metabolic syndrome, and I have a 70% lesion in one of my arteries, the left side of my heart, and I'm convinced that carnivore is the best thing. And I did a interview with Raymond and Bella last fall that you might want to watch, where I really talk about what you do if you have coronary artery disease and you want to regress plaque. And I think you may find that helpful. There's been quite a bit of research on the fact that if you can reduce inflammation, your endothelium, which is the lining of your arteries or your heart, actually heals. And I do a regimen of 7,000 steps a day. Carnivore is my anti-inflammatory approach. I did experiment with a statin. It actually caused my insulin resistance to come back. So I had to stop that after 90 days. That has some, and they put everyone on statins after it, but if it causes insulin resistance, it's causing more aging to the arteries. So you have to balance, what they're doing, and taking so anyway, and Raymond has a very high CAC score, calcium score, and he's done really, really well with this. So I mean, everyone's got to make their own decision, but I hope if you watch that interview with me, I do reference an article of 17 studies. It's actually 17 categories of studies. It's actually 76 different studies at looking how to reverse coronary artery disease, and you may find it very helpful.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate it. We're going to take this one super chat, and then we are going to talk a little bit about SBG and the up and coming Montana meetup. And then we're going to call it a night. We appreciate you guys so much. Here is the last one. It's for Phil. My numbers, total cholesterol is 214. Triglycerides are 359. LDL is 119. And HDL is 32. I'm guessing he's wondering if that's okay.
No, those aren't okay. And the fact that you've been carnivore for 6 months, Foxy Joe, I read that earlier. You appear to have insulin resistance still. And these are not normal carnivore numbers. Normally, we want to see your triglycerides way under 150, your HDL way above 50. And we really don't care what your LDL is, because your LDL is what transports the fats that your body's using. So I think you've got some more work to do. If you're in SBG, please reach out to me. We're going to be launching an insulin resistance course in September. So keep posted for that. We'll be doing a very specific 17-week intervention for people that want to do something very, very special, that have really refractory insulin resistance. So, and we see a lot of people reverse insulin resistance.
Appreciate
so
it.
just keep working with it, Foxy Joe, and give yourself some patience, some time. I do recommend that you do intermittent fasting. Try to keep your meals down to twice a day in a 6-hour window. That will help. and certainly make sure you're getting activity every day.
Right on. I appreciate that. And if we have reached the hour tonight, if you guys want to come and see us in the SBG, we are all in the Steak and Butter Gang. It's our online community. And there it is right there. I was like, where's the button? That's a online carnivore community that we're all part of. And Raymond is the architect of the priming and fasting protocol that has helped heal so many people. And it is truly what so many of us, including me and Alyssa and Lindy, all credit to being able to stay carnivore all this time and kept us in a community and environment that has helped us get free from food addiction and to learn how to heal things that the doctor said we couldn't heal. So if you guys want to join up, it's a great place to be part of a community. So, and then Lindy, do we have the Montana meetup one too? Because speaking of community, SBG is now doing a meetup, an annual meetup in Montana, my hometown. We just had our first one and it was awesome. It was quite the success, and we'd love to see you guys all there and be part of the community and meet you guys in person. So check us out at sbg.events. And right now there's a discount for early ticket purchases for next 4th of July. We appreciate it so much. Thank you guys all for being on here. And thank you guys for watching. We love you all, and we will see you next Friday or in SBG.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for everybody for being here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you in SBG.
Hope to see you in the meetings. Yes.